Hello, my friends. Hope you all are doing very well today. In today's video, I wanted to take a look at Fleet Commander Lorca, what he brings into the game, looking at his abilities, having a discussion with you if he's worth pursuing, if he is worth, dropping that $100 for a full unlock or what have you. And talk about some of the other things, the sourcing that I'm aware of, and one of the biggest issues that come to my mind when it comes to Fleet Commander Lorca. Do I think he's worth pursuing? Absolutely. We'll talk about some of the pros and cons and things that I've heard so far in the community. There's still some information to come as far as like his sourcing for the free-to-play players and whatnot. But let's get into it. Let's talk about it, and then I'll let you be the ultimate judge if you decide he's worth it or not. And once again, I always appreciate your comments down below or joining me on the community in Discord that I'm trying to create of players helping players. You join there and add your thoughts and comments too, and especially if you've unlocked him, what you think of him. But let's jump into it. Why? Because the players matter. All right, well, here we are. Let's go ahead and start talking about a few things. I'm going to get rid of my camera real quick here just so it doesn't get in the way. Yeah, Captain 1645, I want to send a big shout out to you. Thank you so much for sending me some of these screenshots that we're looking at today. He sent me these screenshots. He purchased Lorca. As far as I know, he didn't buy additional packs for him. He had the materials to level him to 20, rank 20 of 20, and you're getting those materials by doing the just stocking up, running Borg solos. We won't go into the detail on that, but stocking up on the material. And as far as I know, he didn't buy any extra packs, and he's leveled them up. As you can see, there's a number of different skills. According to Captain, he leveled him up, or that he got him and leveled him up, but his main focus was the PvP stuff. So there's some pretty strong abilities there. But there's a lot of good stuff. So I want to go through and look at most of the abilities with you all and talk to you about kind of the value there. I think there's a lot of value for really any players in the game. His number one was this ability down here in the very bottom of the combatant tree section of the skill tree. Increases weapon damage for a short amount of time for all your ships. We'll look at how much that scales, but it's pretty significant boost there for how much damage that it does. Looks like you will need to wait until you can activate again, so there is a cooldown as far as that goes. So if you have Lorca, he's going to be significant in your PvP game. If you don't have him, you may lose to players that you otherwise would have beaten, it looks like. So anyways, thanks to Captain 1645 for that. And to be honest, since I hadn't unlocked him, I was just kind of talking with Captain about it and saying, hey, what do you think? Is it worth it? What do you think? If we look at the specials right now, and before we jump into, where is it? I think it's underneath the new. Before we jump into talking about kind of his skills, because I know that's something you can look at on your own. Wanted to get this out there. It looks like currently in the store, going for 18 more days as of the recording of this video, you can outright buy Lorca. It's got some skill points and other things in there, but there's a full unlock. Not a ton of Latinum, which is a little sad. I like to see Latinum in packs because we need more Latinum in the game, I think. A little bit of Commander XP, multi-phasic credits, but it just unlocks him. There is this pack for $50 if you don't want to drop the full 100, but you want to shorten your time to get him. Doesn't have the upgrade stuff. Less Latinum, although it's not that much less because it wasn't that much to start off with, but you get 50. As far as my understanding is, they have not announced a free-to-play path. Supposedly that will be coming next month. Don't know what that's going to look like. If it's anything like how long it takes to unlock a ship, that's typically like 100 days. So if you bought this, you might be able to unlock him in a couple of months, like a month and a half, maybe. That's a guess. So we'll have to see. And this was a comment that the Obsidian Hamster made in a live stream with Major Samo. Once again, thanks Major Samo for running that last night, and tonight Ultimate DJs will do one as well, I believe. So that's word of mouth. Hopefully that comes true. Don't hold me to that, but hopefully there's a decent free-to-play path going forward. My understanding at this point is that the only way right now for you to get more skill points for Lorca is right here. Buy it in a pack, or 2 or 3. 4,000 skill points doesn't sound like a ton to me. So that's frustrating. So the sourcing is unlocking Lorca and leveling him up and using those skill points. If you do that, be very careful with the skill points on what's going to affect your gameplay the most. Just don't go spending willy-nilly. You're going to have to be very judicious in which ones you decide to invest in, because we don't know the sourcing going forward. Is it going to be something like Sloan, where you have to participate in wave defenses all the time just to get a little drip here and there? Maybe. So I would be very cautious about, or very careful, I should say, about how you're deciding to invest in him, unless you decide to buy the upgrade pack here. So once again, it's Scopely. They're making every opportunity to monetize this thing, but he is there. He is powerful. I think it's worth it if you're a light spender and you want to get into some of the things. We'll talk about his abilities now, but very, very powerful fleet commander. Okay. So I thought it was interesting they took it off with this quick bar up here, like I mentioned in my last video. So the only way I found to go into it was going to the command center this way. So hopefully they make that easier. But let's look at Lorca, shall we? Let's talk about him and see what we have to work with here. Okay, so we'll go into the combatant tree. This first one is one you have to select one or the other. You can take your turn, right? You can select one and switch. But this one increases impulse speed while in wave defense. Wave defenses, impulse speed is king. So maxing that, you get an additional 30, which is not bad. Any wave defense, anyone that knows wave defenses, you're going to do well if you have more impulse speed. Killing impulse after destroying a ship increases your base impulse speed by 30. Okay, so I mean, this is only in waves. This is once you kill a ship. So I don't know. I would probably pick this one because it doesn't just need to be in waves. So it should work in both, judging by that description there. More shield hit points. That's good. There's lots of research for that in the game. Isolytic damage for all your ships. He's tearing up, or goes all the way up to 20%. Whole hit points, that's good. Remember, these gold border ones are whether you have him slotted as a commander or not. I think he's going to be a permanent one once you do unlock him in that first slot. So maybe that's not as applicable, but there it is. Beginning of each round of combat, when they have status effect applied, and that should be like hull breach, burning, increases your critical chance, which is pretty cool. More critical chance, more damage, right? Okay, this one is a select one, so weapon damage against players goes all the way up to 2,000%. Pretty nice. Weapon damage against armadas, that goes up to 1,000%. So some pretty big, percentages here. Against hostiles, 1,500%. Or 1,500%. That's pretty significant. So the thing I'm seeing here with some of these is you're gonna have to be careful with what you're doing, and do you need to change and not forget, like I've done many times with some of the others. But there's some pretty powerful bumps here, and you don't want to miss out on those opportunities. So you'll have to remember to hop in here and change those depending what you're doing in the game. This last one is pretty powerful. This is the one we were talking about in the screenshot that Captain 1645 sent me, but weapon damage up to 20,000%. So yeah, pretty powerful, pretty strong here. Okay. And I'm going through these pretty quickly because I know some people are like, hey, I can look at this on my own, but I want to give you some of my thoughts as we hop through this. So from the combatant tree, there's a lot of PvP stuff, a lot of damage, whole hit points, shield hit points, impulse speed. Impulse speed is really important in the game. Ever since they first came out with Fleet Commander Kirk, and I was able to unlock him, having him permanently on for more impulse speed has been really important to me. So we'll see how much this even adds to your gameplay. But yeah, once again, the damage and the impulse speed and all those other things I think are going to make him, even with just one combatant section here of the tree, skill tree is pretty significant. Okay, so let's talk about leader. Base I like all the efficiencies here. So this is research cost efficiencies for materials and resources. So it's gonna go up to 300%, pretty significant bonus there. Repair costs, yeah, that's okay. I mean, anything's gonna help 500%, pretty good. I might not focus on that right off the bat, but it's definitely something that has a good percentage there that will save you some resources. Reactors and catalysts. The catalysts are a huge bottleneck, at least for me. I don't have some of the forbidden tech that give those, but anytime you can get some efficiency for those, decent percentages is going to be helpful. Artifact shards, so you'll be able to tier up artifacts more efficiently. That's fantastic. Here's some of the things that I've been interested in as I've been going from 59 to 60, that being aware of some, any efficiencies for building resources and materials, those kind of things is really huge. So this is for buildings, cost efficiency of resources. So up to 250%, that's pretty nice. Materials for buildings goes up to 120%, not bad. Let's see, upgrading ship components, 350%. Let's hop out real quick. Something I've been kind of trying to work on a little bit as I've had a little bit of extra budget to work with. Let's hop into the research tree real quick here. Station, it's these primes right here, ship parts and ship. So for ship parts, that goes all the way up to 700%. The materials one for, not just your like titanium and whatnot, but crystal, gas, and ore, that goes up to 1,000%. So I don't see that Lorca has that same level of percentages for all that, but it's still pretty significant. And when you look at everything, the way I kind of look at Lorca is he's like a bunch of primes all wrapped up into one. Now you can't unlock it with just one $100 purpose, I get that, but the fact that he adds so much to the game that you can eventually hopefully grind for, and hopefully that's not too bad of a grind, is pretty awesome. So I mean, I'll take whatever I can get there. So when you're talking about efficiencies there, getting your ops level up more quicker, building your ships, scrapping, I'm trying to scrap some G4 rare ships so I can do some of this, so pretty fantastic there. And then this one here is one you have to kind of be aware of. This last one, efficiency for different ships, right? When upgrading ship components, we've got this goes up to 500%, which is pretty good. So this is explorers. You've got interceptor parts, you've got battleship parts, pretty significant stuff here that's really going to help you in your gameplay with some of that stuff, okay? So I really like the leader section, partly because that's where I've been focusing my game recently, but it should help you upgrade those ships. And if you've tried upgrading your ships past a certain level, you always hit that rare bottleneck, that parts bottleneck issue. So anyways, I think it's huge. I think these are really fantastic bonuses there, of something you might want to consider if you think that's going to help your gameplay, which I really think it will help a lot of players. Anything in here I think is going to help every player. And I'm not trying to be, go out and buy a pack, but if you're a low spender, I think this is a fantastic purchase. I really do. If you're free to play, I think it's someone that you should focus your time on, that when they come out with a free to play path, fingers crossed, hopefully that's next month. Like Obsidian Hamster was talking about. But I would definitely go after Lorca, get him, put in that first slot, upgrade him, work on the things that are most important to you, whether that's PvP or whatever. And we'll finish this last tree and talk about some of that. But I think he's definitely someone you're going to want to go after. Free to play, or throw down that purchase, whatever it is, I think is someone you want to focus your gameplay on. Okay, tactician, officer stats, lots of research to that in the game. Mining, so that research that we have in a little bit in the game, where once you hop off a node, you get extra. So that is awesome. That may help. Warp speed. That's fantastic, especially for you in the G5 and above, to be able to get to your systems quicker. That is a good efficiency to have. Max cargo, okay, that's nice. Let's look at the percentages there. 150%, okay, pretty good. Base value of all piercing against players. This is a selecting one, of course. Piercing stat against armadas and invading entities. And increases base value of all piercing stat against non-armada hostiles. So once again, depending what you're doing. Okay, isolate defense for all your ships. That goes up to 60%. That's a nice one. Any isolate defense to help you with PvP, the Gorn, whatever. There is some research in the game, so that's helpful. Just adds a little bit more. Increases your apex barrier. That's the new kind of mechanic in the game that they've come out with recently. And then lowers your weapons warm-up time during station defense if you've been increased by another effect. Cannot go below original value. So cool. Cool. Okay, so that's very quickly looking at his abilities. I'm not a big... just because I can't compete with the whales and their spending and their strong ships, PvP's never been a strong thing for me in the game, but for you it might be. There's still some increased damage if you're going to be taking on some bigger targets. Maybe normally beyond your ability to take out those targets, but with some of his buffs, that really can change the game for you. There's a lot of cost efficiencies for your station, for your ships, that I love. I think is going to be a huge boost to players. And then, the impulse speed, I don't want to forget to mention that. I think that's fantastic too. That will help people in the game, and tactician does have a lot of great bonuses there. Okay, so that is a review of Lorca. In summary, I think he's fantastic. I think it's still worth mentioning that this is a concern in the community as far as power creep goes. Huge boost to all these things. And so is that a concern? Yes. If we put that aside for a moment, though, he will have a significant impact to your game. So once again, I've repeated it multiple times in this video, but my honest opinion is that whether you wait till hopefully next month, whenever they come out with a free-to-play sourcing, hopefully that's next month, as a free-to-play, I would go all in as much as you can to unlock him. Even if that means you don't unlock him for 3 months, if that's the path, that's the path. I think he's worth going after. I think he's worth the time, worth the effort to unlock. If you are a low spender, and you have the budget, you have the means, and you want to see those buffs, I think he's a fantastic purchase, even if you just unlock him. Even if that's just the $50 or the $100, even if that's all you do, I think will be a fantastic addition to your game. So you'll have to decide. You'll have to decide if he's worth it or not. I'd love to hear from you all. as I've talked to Captain in my alliance, thanks once again, buddy, that sharing those screenshots and having that discussion with you on Discord was fantastic. I'd love to hear from you all, because as I've talked with him and talked with other players, I think he's a fantastic purchase, very much worth investing in, either your time to unlock him or the dollars to do it immediately. But I'd love to hear from you all. As you've looked at him, what are your thoughts? Do you think he gives players too much of a significant advantage? Do you think he's worth spending that $50 for the quicker unlock because you get the 50 shards, or the $100? What do you think about the skill points? That is my number one concern. My number one concern is, how hard is it going to be to level up, promote him, as far as like all those skills, getting the skills leveled? How difficult is that going to be? I don't know. I think it's fantastic, but if you do unlock him, please, please, please promise me you'll just be very careful on what you spend your credits on, because or skill points on, because you only have so many, and you'll have to make sure that you're investing in the skills that are going to help your game the very most. So anyways, thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a wonderful day. Look forward to reading your comments down below, and look forward to more content, because we have a lot this month to go over. Anyways, thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.